I hope you enjoyed the story and I hope that it inspires you and relieves some of your anxiety or any fears you may have when it comes to problem solving. Just remember that we are going to be expert detectives at solving math problems. And so, if we can change our mindset and our thinking about the problem and realize that the problem is not too big for us to handle. And so, because we have um, learned so many new things this week and so many new strategies to help us become experts at what we're doing. We're going to be great. We're not going to have to worry about um, any of those things that may get in our way and stop us from being the best mathematicians and detectives that we already are. So, we're going to continue with our lesson today. And look at a few problems, and we're only going to focus on two sections of our problem solving plan. And so the two areas of focus today will be understand. Understand is the most important section of our problem solving plan, because if we don't understand what the problem is asking, if we're not understanding or comprehending what we're reading, we're going to struggle with planning, we're going to struggle with solving, and we definitely won't have any information to help us check our work. So, the only areas that we're going to focus on are the understand and plan. On Monday, when we come back next week, we will then solve the problems and we will complete the other two sections, the other two areas of our problem solving board, which will be solve and check. Okay, so let's look at our first problem. And what I'm going to do for you, I am going to model for you what you would do if you were face to face with me, what strategies I would expect and your teachers would expect for you to use to show your thinking. And so I know a lot of times students get frustrated because they don't want to show strategies. They just want to get done with the work and be done. But I guarantee if you follow um, the strategies that your teachers and I are trying to teach you and show you that we're modeling for you, 99.5% of the time, which is almost 100% of the time, you will get the right answer without fail. But you have to show your work, you have to show your thinking. And also, and we're not just doing this to try to punish you or anything like that. This shows how smart you are. This shows how awesome you are of a mathematician. And it also shows us what areas we may need to work with you on in intervention, because if it's something that you're struggling with, then we can look at your strategies to see where you may have made an error and we can help you to correct that. And again, that's what great mathematicians do. They make mistakes and they find ways to correct themselves. So, this is what we are. We are mathematicians and we're ready to rock and roll with problem solving, multi step problem solving today involving addition and subtraction. So let's look at the first problem. So here we can see now our word problems are becoming a little bit more complex. You should notice now that we have lengthier sentences now. We have a little bit more reading to do. So again, please don't get discouraged because you see a lot of words here. They're words. Okay, they're not here to hurt us. They're words. Okay, and it's okay. And remember, your teachers can read to you if there are words here that you don't understand or you're having struggles trying to pronounce. That's okay. We can read it to you, but don't not read it, because a good mathematician will read and read, or ask someone to read for them to make sure that they're understanding and they're reading it correctly. So our problem says Sam counted the number of sports cards he has in a collection. He has 348 baseball cards. he has 151 football cards, and he has 293 basketball cards. How many more baseball cards than basketball cards does Sam have in his collection? That's a lot of information there. Whoa. Yes, it is. It is a lot of information. If you're thinking like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to solve that? That is a lot. That's too much. I don't get it. Yes, you do. You do get it. Oh, we're going to just dissect this problem. We're going to decompose this problem. We're going to break it down and make sure that we're only focusing on information that we need in the problem to help us solve the problem. Because sometimes, if you are really being a good detective and you're searching for those clues, sometimes there's extra information that we don't need, that we need to throw out to help us solve our problem. And then sometimes there's a lot of information there, but we just need to pinpoint the exact information we need to help us to solve our problem. Okay, so we're going to read it again. And it says that Sam counted the number of sports cards he has in a collection. He has 348 baseball cards. He has 151 football cards. He has 293 basketball cards. How many more baseball cards than basketball cards does Sam have in his collection? Okay, so we are going to use our problem solving plan, and we're going to only focus on the understand area section and the plan section. So looking at my understand, I need to understand what have I read. So I am going to go back and read it for a third time, and I am going to highlight the important information that I need. So I know my character is Sam, and Sam counted his sports cards. And I know that he has 348 baseball cards. I also know that he has 151 football cards, and he has 293 basketball cards. So my question is asking, how many more baseball cards? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so our light bulbs should be going off, and everybody should be like, yes, okay, I see an action word here. I see an action word here. What is my action word? My action word is how many more. So I'm looking at how many more baseball cards than basketball cards does Sam have in his collection. As you can see, I did not highlight everything. But the reason why I included this problem now is not necessarily a multi-step problem, but the reason why I included this problem in our slide and lesson for today is because I want you to pay close attention to what you're reading and the information that you're reading, what's needed and what's not needed. Okay, so if you were reading it carefully, and we've read it already um, 3 times, then you should see that we do not need some information here. So we have some information in our problem that is that we need to dispose of. We need to put it out to the trash because it's not needed. It's not going to help us solve our problem. So the information that is not needed is the football cards. So I'm just going to scribble this out because it's not important information. Yes, I know that it's part of his collection, but for what I need, I don't need this information to solve um my problem, because my question only wants me to compare the baseball cards and the basketball cards. So I know that Sam has, and so I'm going to put baseball, and he has 348 baseball cards, and basketball He has 293. And since I am comparing, I know that he has more baseball cards than basketball cards. So my plan is going to look like this. I'm going to use a strip diagram, and I'm going to put 348 here. And I'm going to put 293 here because this is representing my basketball cards. And this is representing my baseball cards. And so I'm just going to stop right here. So right now, I know that I have more than enough information to figure out how my next step, which will be solved. Okay. I know that I'm comparing two items, which are my baseball and basketball. And I know that Sam has more baseball, I'm sorry, than basketball. And I also know that I need to find this missing part to see how many more baseball cards does he have than basketball cards. And another strategy that I like to use is I like to put a triangle over than, because most of the time that is my clue to let me know that I am comparing two or more things. And so here I know that I am comparing the baseball cards to the basketball cards.